sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge jonamla chanjo bando dane gyapsun Ge dola benjire sanje nubarajo Sanje joda zoge jonamla chanjo bando dane gyapsun Dage jinso gebe sonamge dola benjire sanje nubarajo Sanje joda zoge chonamda chanjo bardo dani kyapsuch Dage jinso kebe chonamge dola penjir sanje dubarayasho Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes is well taught by the great seer. One that is come. Deyata Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasam Gate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasambhate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasambhate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha Okay, this morning we were discussing about how two things can be entity-wise one or entity-wise different, and isolated-wise one, isolated-wise different. This is what we learned, and particularly those who are more newcomers to this topic, during the group discussion, I request the ones who are more exposed to this concept to be a little patient, and instead of you jumping into the complicated discussions, I would suggest you to be a little patient to listen to the newcomers as to whether they have understood these concepts. What is entity-wise one different, isolated one different, and once you get a feeling that they got it, then you can let them speak. You can also speak as to what examples can you give for what is entity-wise one, entity-wise different, isolated-wise one, isolated-wise different, and then to make it a little more complicated, and Bodhicitta was one, but Asura was different. Bodhicitta was different, Asura was different, and so forth. And this is what we can do. So, alongside what we said is that the taking the example of the vase, the vase or the vase and the color of the vase, are these two entities as one or different? Was answer. The vase and the color of the vase, entity was one or different? Entity was one, isolated was one different. Isolated was different. Okay, this is what we need to know. And having understood this, the relationship between the whole and the parts, the vase as the whole and its characteristics as the parts, or the characteristics, what is categorized and what are the characteristics. So for the vase was the basis of the characteristics, and the characteristics, for example, like the vase, the color of the vase, the shape of the vase, and that the vase is empty of being chocolate, that the vase is and the empty of being objective reality, and so forth. All these characteristics and the object of the characteristic, the basis of the characteristic was relationship. The relationship is always one entity, different isolates. Let's not forget it. As long as there are two things, one which is the basis of the characteristics and the other the characteristics, the relationship with the two is always entity wise one, isolated wise different. Let's not forget it. So with this, having said this, let's say that the vase and the color of the vase. What's the relationship between the two? The vase and the color of the vase. What's the relationship? Entity-wise, one. Isolated-wise, different. If somebody asks you why is it that the relationship between the two is entity-wise one, isolated-wise different? Why? And to simply put, you can say that these two are in the form of the basis of characteristic, or the characterized and the characteristics. The vase is characterized and the color of the vase is the characteristic. So the relationship between what is characterized and what is characteristic is always entity-wise one and isolated-wise different. Okay, if that's the case, then the next question is, how many such characteristics are there? The color of the vase, shape of the vase. How many such characteristics are there of the vase? Anyone? Infinite number of characteristics are there. For example, like this vase is empty of being a chocolate. Is that the characteristic of the vase? Yes. This vase is empty of being permanent. It is not permanent, it is impermanent. This vase is empty of being permanent. Is it characteristic of the vase? Yes. This vase is empty of being objectively real. Objective reality. Is it characteristic of the vase? Yes. So what's the relationship between the vase and the emptiness of the objective existence of the vase? What's the relationship between these two in terms of entity and isolate? Entity wise one, isolated wise different. Okay. So now you've understood this, and perhaps it may be like a revolutionary idea, concept that may come to you. For example, when you speak about permanent, how many of you get the feeling that permanent means something which lasts eternally long? Presents? Permanent means something which lasts eternally long. Okay, so now we're going to revolutionize this idea that permanent may not be always eternally long. What examples do we have? Okay, absence of the flower in my hand. Absence of the flower in my hand, is it permanent or impermanent? From what we learned this morning? Permanent. Okay, now let's say that, what is the sound? This sound is permanent, impermanent. This sound is impermanent. This sound is impermanent. And do you remember that all qualities of absences, all qualities of absence. Absence of chocolate, absence of objective existence, all absences should be understood as permanent phenomena. You remember that? Okay, you should be able to justify that as well. Not only that you remember it, you should be able to justify this. Okay, so let's say the sound for clap. What do you think is the duration of this? Raise hand. Yes. A millisecond. How many milliseconds? Let's say 2 milliseconds. Let's say 2 milliseconds. Down, people cannot hear me. Up, what is this? Echo is coming. We'll see if we can do something. Now, you can hear. Okay, good. And now, let's see that the sound of the clap is, the duration is like let's say 1 second. That's 1 second. Now, this sound of a clap, it has many characteristics. You agree? You agree with me? This sound, just as this vowels has innumerable characteristics, even the sound also has innumerable characteristics. You agree with me? Good. So this sound, say the duration of this sound and the duration of the characteristics of the sound, these two should be same duration. You agree with me? If this vase lasts for 10 days, the characteristics of this sound can maximum last for 10 days. The moment I break this vase, all the characteristics of this sound, this vase will disappear. You agree with me? Good. So likewise, say if the duration of this sound of the clap is 1 second, all the duration of the characteristics of this sound should also be maximum 1 second. You agree with me or not? Okay. Now let's say that the sound of clap has the characteristic of being empty of being a tree. So this sound is empty of being tree. You agree? Good. So this absence of being a tree, this sound being absent of being a tree, is that the characteristic of the sound or not? That is the characteristic of the sound. So the absence of the sound being empty of being a tree, and is that permanent or impermanent? Permanent. And yet, let's not forget it. Just as the sound lasts for 1 second, all the characteristics of this sound should also last for 1 second, not more. You agree? All the qualities of absences, all the qualities of absence, being absent of being a chocolate, absent of being a tree, they all should be permanent, and also that they should last not more than 1 second. You getting it? So we can see that a thing can be permanent but can last maximum 1 second. It's not that what is a permanent should necessarily last forever. You getting it? So this is a concept where if you learn about these philosophy, the logic, then you come to know that in Buddhism, where the Buddha taught all composite things impermanent, it doesn't mean that everything is impermanent, number one. Number two, that the permanent doesn't mean something which lasts forever. Something can last as short as 1 millisecond and still be permanent. Can you give an example of that? Can you give him an example of that? Something which lasts for 1 millisecond duration, yet it is permanent. Can you give an example? Raise hand. Raise hand. Yes, over there. Huh? Okay, another example. Yes. Snap of a finger. Snap of finger is permanent, impermanent? Impermanent. I ask you to give an example of what is permanent yet lasts only for 1 millisecond. Yes, over there? A thought. A thought. Okay, a thought. Is it permanent, impermanent? Impermanent. Can you give an example of permanent which lasts for a millisecond? The quality of the absence of tree of the snap of a finger. Quality of the absence of a tree of the snap of a finger. So just a snap of a finger, it lasts for a few seconds or 1 second. Even the quality, all the qualities of this particular object as well should be lasting not more than 1 second, which means the absence of being a tree. That is also quality of this, the snap of finger. It lasts for not more than 1 second. So the idea that we are learning here is that a phenomena can be permanent, but it does not necessarily should be lasting forever. It can be as short as millisecond, as short as a nanosecond, and yet it can still be permanent. You getting it?
Does that mean that we should take a different definition of permanence? It could be a simple word. Should we take a different definition of permanence as taught by Shakyamuni Buddha, whereas the one we would find in a dictionary would probably say that it lasts forever?
Okay, that's a good question. Keep up with these reflections. So important. Usually, the definition, yes. So first, if you look at the various the books, dictionaries, we see that the definition of things differ from one dictionary to the other dictionary to the other dictionary. So, is it how we understand? Is it that the definition of permanence should be taken as two different ways? One as postulated by the Buddha, and one as postulated by the other books. Okay, so what I may suggest is that pertaining to the dictionary, don't ever go with from this point of view, from that point of view. The best definition would be how you understand this particular object in the conventional sense. Say, for example, there's a huge debate on what is known as free will. Whether or not there is free will, this is a huge debate in various disciplines. So what do you mean by free will? We are not to define that in our own ways. Free will is something which we all use, or we all talk about, we all understand it in our own ways, in a conventional sense. So we have to define it in accordance with the conventional understanding of what free will is. Likewise, permanence and impermanence. Permanence is not about the Buddha Shakyamuni defined it or somebody else defined it. It's about, let's say that if you define it how the ordinary people meaning somebody who has no exposure to philosophy and logic, if you define it according to them, you end up with a lot of contradictions. You getting it? You end up with a lot of contradictions. For example, they even cannot have a concept of isolate device and so forth. They don't have this distinction. So the best would be which accommodates understanding of what is permanent from the point of view of the conventional norm as well as from the point of view of the learned people. It's not necessarily that you should be Buddhist learned people. You getting it? Okay. Good point. So with this, what we learn is that the permanent and impermanent. What is a permanent phenomenon? Permanent phenomena is a phenomena. As a phenomenon, this qualification must be there. As a phenomena, is a phenomenon which is devoid of change. Which is devoid of change. Just keep it there. And this, even the ordinary people will also understand it. Where there's no change means there's no impermanence. What is existent, not being impermanent, is permanent. This is how we understand it. Okay, so with this, what we've learned is that the vast and is the vast being absent of true existence, vast being absent of what we learned yesterday and this morning, is that everything comes by the power of your mind, like a movie being projected by your mind, the projector of your mind. You getting it? This is what we learn. That everything that exists in the universe, they should necessarily come into being by the power of your mental imputation. Your mind is like the movie projector. And what we said is that just as the dream is created by your mind, and the dream, there are two kinds. What are they? Conventional dream and unconventional dream. What do you understand by conventional dream? Anyone? Say it again. Okay, on the conventional dream is a dream that comes to an end. What about the unconventional dream of the Buddha Shakyamuni before he became a Buddha? It also came to an end. Right? You agree? Not agree? You agree. So, but it's not conventional dream. It's unconventional dream. What do you mean by conventional dream? So what Lakshmi said, I agree with her to a great extent. But it requires exhaustive understanding. Okay, there, the Abhishekji, yes. The sleep of ignorance? Yes. Sleep there too. Conventional sleep and unconventional sleep. We get into unconventional sleep every day. Not only every day, 24/7 we are in the unconventional sleep. You're getting it? Okay, what is conventional dream? Anyone? Yes, Pablo?
When you haven't awakened to the wisdom of emptiness.
Okay, so as a dream from which you wake up and again you fall, you go to sleep and again you have the next dream. That is a conventional dream, right? Thank you, Pablo. Okay, so dream there too, conventional dream and unconventional dream. So when does one wake up from the unconventional dream? Anyone? When does one wake up from the unconventional dream? Raise hands, raise hands, raise hands. Petula. When one realizes the wisdom of emptiness, when one realizes the emptiness, when one realizes the ultimate reality. Thank you. Okay, so what we need to understand is that the vowels is impermanent phenomena, is a composite phenomena, but the vowels being empty of objective reality, objective existence, that is the characteristic of the vowels. So what's the relationship with the vowels and the emptiness of the objective existence of the vowels? What's the relationship? Entity-wise one, isolated-wise different. Let's not forget it. Okay. So from this we see that the same object has innumerable characteristics. You're getting it? Some of them are permanent phenomena, some of them are impermanent phenomena. You agree with me? Good. So next I'd like to introduce to you a very important concept, known as the positive phenomena and the negative phenomena. Positive phenomena and negative phenomena. Okay. Before I go into the positive and negative phenomena, what I'd like to share with you is that did you get some idea that they say for things to exist, it is not necessary that and the 100% it should be from the object versus as objects as opposed to subject. So things can exist also from the subject, also from your thinking. You agree with me? For example, like that the vase and the characteristics of the vase, these two to be different. One is the characterized and the other is the characteristic. This distinction that these two are different it makes sense only by dependence on your conceptual mind. Yes? It's by the power of the subject. Okay, how many are a little confused? Let me say this again. The vase and the characteristics of this vase, these two are different or these two are same? Entity-wise? Same. Isolated-wise? Different. So isolated-wise different meaning? Okay. Same, this vase and the color of the vase. So color of the vase is characteristic and vase is the characterized. You agree with me? Good. So one is the characterized and one is the characteristic. Right? So vase is not the characteristic of the vase. Vase is the characterized. Whereas the color of the vase is the characteristic of the vase. So this distinction is made by the subject or from the object? Subject. You getting it? So things can exist by the part of your subject. You getting it? By the part of your subject. It's not necessary that if something exists, it should necessarily be existing from the object. Some of the things can exist by the part of the subject also. For example, the absence of the flower in my hand. Absence of flower in my hand. Does it exist or not? Okay. Absence of the flower in my hand, in my left hand, does it exist or not? Okay, raise your hands those who say yes, it exists. Raise your hands those who said no, it does not exist. Okay, so we see that there are two different traditions. Alright? So in future, so that one is racialism from the racial side, Rachel and Abhishekji and others, and the Sunil, right? Sunilism. And there's other group also, someone like you, what do you say?
I don't know.
Okay, so the point is that these two, the vase and the characteristics of the vase, that these two are different, comes into being from the object or from the subject. These two being different. From the object, these two are same. So therefore we call this as entity wise one. But we say that one is characteristic and one is characterized. So this distinction is made. This distinction is made from the object or from the subject? From the subject. You're getting it? So from this is a unique presentation made by started, formally introduced by the South Trantica school, the second school. 4 schools we learned, formally introduced by the second school, saying that if something exists, it is not necessary that it should exist from the object. It can exist by the power of this subject. You're getting it? So from this, you see that the concept of subjectivity. What we learn is that finally what we try to learn, why in the first place, why do you think we are studying all these things? Hey, why did you come to this retreat? Huh? Yes, Abhishek ji? To clear the confusion. What kind of confusion? Anyone? Now what the confusion is, it becomes clearer to you. Right? So what kind of confusion? Raise hands, raise hands, raise hands, raise hands. Raise hands. Yes, there. Exactly. They say I'm confused. How to get to fearlessness? How to get to infinite happiness? Right? Okay. So the whole purpose is to get to fearlessness and infinite happiness. From what you've learned thus far, what is the solution to that? How to get there? Anyone? Raise hands. How to get there? Fearlessness and infinite happiness. What should we do? Raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Oh, no one. Yes? Direct realization of emptiness. This is required. How many agree? Your name? Michael. Okay, how many Michaels are here? Okay, you are Michael? Lakshmi, you are Michael? No? Okay, how many Michael are there? 1. Philip, how many Philip are there? 2. Raise hands. 1, 2. And Jonathan. Okay. Okay, let's say that, what is my question? Huh? How to get there? By cultivating wisdom, direct realization of emptiness. You getting it? So this is what we try to learn what emptiness is. So with this, what we are saying is that what is meant by emptiness? Yeah, what is emptiness? Hey, empty of what? Empty of inherent existence, objective existence, which means there's no objective existence. If there's no objective existence, what is existence? Hey, subjective existence. You're getting it? If there's no objective existence, it implies subjective existence. For example, let's say that if this flower is lying close to you, and I come and I said, oh, this is my flower. This explicitly what I said is, this is my flower. But what is the implicit meaning? It's not yours. You're getting it? If I say it's not yours, it's very offensive. So to be more polite, I say it's mine. It's a nice way of saying it's not yours. Likewise, when we say that everything is empty of objective existence, what's the implication? Hey, everything exists subjectively. Good. So we have to know what subjectivity is. What does it mean by subjective? Anyone? What does it mean by subjective? Anyone? Something which comes into existence by the imputation of your mind. How many agree with the racial hands? Good. So this subjectivity, how things can come into existence by the power of your mind, that is very complicated. Because this is complicated, the Buddha remained silent for 49 days. You getting it? So now, for the first time, we introduce the concept of subjectivity, saying that there are things, there are two categories of things. Some which comes into being by the power of your mind. For example, absence of the flower in my hand. Absence of flower in my hand. Does it exist by the power of your mind or from the object? Absence of flower. It's by the power of mind. Why? What makes you think that it exists by the power of your mind? Anyone? Just give your thoughts. What makes you think that the absence of the flower in my hand, it exists by the power of the mind, by the subject? Anyone? Why? Raise your hand. Yes, Melissa? Okay, it exists. Number one. Always let us not forget to give this qualification. It exists, but it has no substance there. From the object, there's no substance. It exists. Because there's no substance, it should come from the subject. You're getting it? So here, look, this is very important. Subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence. You're getting it? So subjectivity has many connotations. Subjectivity has many connotations. Because the subjectivity is a very complex subject, very subtle subject, Buddha remained silent for 49 days. And then later on, when the Buddha started to give the teachings, he taught this subjectivity on various levels. The first level the Buddha taught is subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence. You getting it? Substantial existence. Although for us it's very convenient to say subjectivity as opposed to objectivity, but in actuality, the first concept of subjectivity is introduced on the basis of understanding subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence, which means that the flower exists as substance or without substance. The flower exists as substance or without substance? Substance. Which means, what do you mean by having the substance? It means something which is impermanent. Something which is impermanent is made of substance. You getting it? So, something which exists but without substance is known as permanent. Let's not forget it. So from this, we see that what is permanent comes into being by the power of the subject. What is impermanent comes into being by the power of the substance. So, this school, which school? South Trantica School. From this school, they formally introduce the subjectivity. Subjectivity, not the way introduced by the Prasangika, but they introduce it in their own ways, where it classifies the phenomenon into two groups, one which exists substantially, other which exists subjectively. You're getting it? So for them, subjectivity means subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence. Let's not forget it. Okay. So if you, this is how you understand what is subjectivity. Subjectivity as opposed to what? Objectivity of what? Subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence. If this you how you understand it, which means that you classify things into two things. One which exists substantially and other which exists subjectively. You getting it? So here the subjectivity does not connote subjectivity as opposed to objectivity. Let's not forget it. So when we fail to see these nuances, then many, even some scholars, the moment they hear the word subjectivity, means there is no objectivity. This is what they fail to understand. Because of West, they think that Prasangika philosophy, the Swata Madhyamika philosophy, Chittamatra philosophy, they're all same. Because they cannot see the distinctions. What is being rejected when you speak about subjectivity. The same thing is, for example, let's say the President of India, President of America, and the President of President of youth group, and President of the school students. You're getting it? These are all referred to as presidents, but the power is different. You're getting it? The meaning is very different. Likewise, all these schools, they talk about subjectivity, but the understanding of the subtlety of understanding of the subjectivity differs. You're getting it? So, how do you understand what the particular school is talking about when they talk about subjectivity? So, it depends on what is being rejected when talking about the subjectivity. So, for subjectivity opposed to what? If you know this, then you understand the subjectivity from that particular school point of view. So, for South Atlantic school, subjectivity as opposed to substantial existence. So, from the Svatandra Madhyamika, South Atlantic school, for this school, say the flower, does it exist? Does it exist as the subjectively or not? Because they exist substantially. Therefore, substance. All impermanent phenomena, they exist substantially and they don't exist subjectively. From the point of view of the South Atlantic school. Let's not forget it. The first level of understanding subjectivity. All impermanent phenomena, they don't exist subjectively. Only the permanent phenomena exist subjectively. So here, what is the connotation of subjectivity? In this context, where the permanent phenomenon they equals to subjective existence and impermanent phenomena equals to substantial existence, what is the understanding of subjectivity in this context? Anyone? What do you mean by subjectivity in this context? Subjectivity is something which exists by the part of the mind independent of the substance, objective substance. You getting it? Say, from this school point of view, what do you mean by subjective? Subject means something which exists but empty of substantial existence. If you can say this much, you have understood the subjectivity from this school point of view, the first one. You getting it? Okay. So this is quite interesting, right? Because that now we can say that what is my hand? There's a flower there. What is my hand? Absence of flower is there, right? So if you talk about the absence of flower in my hand, yes, something is there. Absence of flower is there, and you will not be shocked. You will not be shocked. You understand, okay, so the person is exposed to the philosophy and logic.
In that case, it's your hand.
Say it again?
Your hand?
Yes.
You talk about the absence of things in your hand.
Yes.
But your hand or your mass, like object, it's an object.
Hand is object, yes. Hand is object. Absence of the flower in my hand, that is not the substantial existence.
Yes, but the hand
is object, yes.
object.
Is an impermanent phenomenon. Yes.
Okay.
So hand is not in the hand.
Okay. So objects are also impermanent.
Okay. Let's say object there are two. Object which are impermanent and which are impermanent. Hand is the object which is impermanent. Object, there are two kinds. Object which is a composite phenomena and object which is non-composite phenomena. Hand is the composite phenomena, whereas the composite phenomena should be impermanent. Good? Okay. So with this, so what we did is that we are trying to understand the subjectivity. For the first time, we come to realize that, okay, things that exist may not always exist from the substance. Like what? Hey, for things to exist, it is not necessary that they should exist from the substance. Things can still exist through mind, through subjective imputation. Like what? Like love. Okay. This is something which came so often. Love. What is love? Is it permanent, impermanent phenomena? Impermanent phenomena. How is it impermanent phenomena? It is a mental state. It is a mental state. What is a mental state? It's a mind, in other words. Love and affection. This is the quality of the mind. One of the qualities of the mind. Right? It's a mind. Whereas the mind should... Impermanent phenomena classified into three groups. What are they? Form, mind, non-associated composite factors. We studied, I think, a year ago. Just this morning, I think. You're getting it? So, we have classified the impermanent phenomena into three. The form, the mind. So, whatever falls out of these three categories should necessarily be impermanent. It cannot be permanent. You're getting it? Okay. Good. So what examples do we have to say that something exists but not substantially? Give me an example. Resent? Yes.
Absence of flower.
Absence of flower? Absence of elephant? Anyone else? Okay, now you know, right? Now the next question is, somebody brought up the question of the non-composite space, uncomposite space. Okay. What is uncomposite space? Anybody? For your information, what I will share with you is that all non-composite phenomena somehow they must be associated with the composite phenomena. You're getting it? For example, like the absence of the flower in my hand. They should put the hand there. What's your name? Eva. What Eva said, that they should put hand there to say that absence of the flower. They should put hand there, hand being absent of flower. You getting it? So the hand should be there. Likewise, uncompounded phenomena or non-composite phenomena, non-composite space, uncompounded space. What's uncompounded space? Again, it must be associated with the compounded phenomena. What is that? First, we have to know what is space. You getting it? What is space? Before we talk about the uncompounded space, say, anybody who can explain to me what is space? Anyone? Yes.
Absence of substantial phenomena.
Okay, absence of substantial phenomena. Do you see space between two of us? You don't see the space. Okay, is there anybody who see the space between two of us? Do you know that? Okay, just just stretch your hand out. Right? Okay, Pablo is very active. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Tuina, don't hit. Okay, so when you stretch it out, if there's somebody who is sitting just next to you, would you be able to stretch out your hand? Would you do that? You will not do that. Why not? You know that something's going to obstruct me. You getting it? You know that whereas when you stretch your hands very freely in front of you, which means that you know that there's a space there. How do you know this? I can see that. You getting it? I can see that. If you follow all these reasonings, understanding through these experiential, the responses come to you through your experiential understanding, then it will take you deeper and deeper into philosophy. Whereas if you don't relate to your real life experience, you can never enjoy philosophy and you will never get the philosophy. So that you know that if I put my hands out, no one's going to stop me. I can see that. How do you know that your hand can stretch out so freely? How do you know that? I can see that there's empty there. In the loose sense, what you call as, there's an empty there. There's empty there. So this space, there's a space there. Nobody's obstructing me. There's a space there. This space, how do you know that there's a space there in front of you? I can see that, right? I can see that. Okay. So this space that you can see, what is visible to your valid sense consciousness? What is visible to your valid sense consciousness? That is known as impermanent phenomena. That's a composite phenomena. Only your valid sense consciousnesses, what they see is they should see the composite phenomena. So what I'm seeing is this space is what I can see with my eyes. Valid eye sense consciousness. So it should be a composite phenomena. So this space is known as composite space. You getting it? This space that we can see between you and me, that is known as the composite space. Why composite? Because this is a composite phenomena. How do you know it's composite phenomena? This is a phenomena which is uniquely cognized by my sense consciousnesses. Sense consciousness, eye sense consciousness, what you can see validly should necessarily be composite phenomena. Yes.
Because I had understood it before as being because that it was impermanent because it could change.
Okay, so for the time being, what we do is that let us follow what I'm saying, and later on you try to correlate. Okay, composite means impermanent. Impermanent is change. How is it changing? These are all the questions that we have to deal with systematically. For the time being, let us continue with this. Okay, now this space that you're seeing between you and me, this space, just as this vase has how many characteristics there? Innumerable characteristics are there. Likewise, this space also has how many characteristics? Innumerable characteristics are there. One of which is that this space is absent of obstruction. The quality of the absence of obstruction. This is one of the characteristics of this space. That absence of the obstruction, quality of the absence of the obstruction, that is permanent, impermanent. All absences we said is permanent. You're getting it? So that is, because it is permanent, it is non-composite, uncompounded. So this quality of the absence of obstruction, that is given the label uncompounded space. You're getting it? First you have to understand what a compounded space is. Once you understand this, compounded space, that space that we can see between two of us, it's an open space. That space has innumerable qualities, innumerable characteristics, one of which is that it is absent of obstruction. So the quality of the absence of the obstruction of this particular space that we are seeing is given the label uncompounded space. Because it's uncompounded, and it's given the label space, that's it. That is what is referred to as the uncompounded space. You getting it? Yes. Okay, good. Having said this, now we have to go to the positive and the negative phenomena. Yes?
Does that mean that space in front of us is both compound and non-compound?
No.
Because both we can see it and both...
No. Absence you don't see. Okay, that we're going to study now. You get it? The absence we're going to study now. Okay, good. Okay. Now we're going to study what is known as a positive phenomena and negative phenomena. And why, if you don't understand these concepts, first if you don't understand the subjectivity as opposed to Substantial existence. You're getting it? Don't subjectivity. It's very easy. The subjectivity is supposed to objectivity. You don't think. But what we learned here is subjectivity is supposed to substantial existence. Let's not forget it. This is one thing. This is where, for the first time, we are introduced to the subjectivity. It's not the full understanding. It's not the full import of the understanding of subjectivity. That's the introduction. You're introduced to the concept of subjectivity. Now, we're going to go into what is known as the positive and negative phenomena. Without introducing these, to get to emptiness is impossible. If you don't get emptiness, you don't get a wisdom to get into the mental defilements. Without which, we will forever remain in miseries. Yes. Yes.
And the existence of permanence also, like it's time boundary or something. So does permanence only exist as long as the impermanence of the object exists?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay. Say that the all permanent phenomena, somehow they should be associated with, this is the word that I use, they should be associated with the impermanent phenomena. Let us say that the existence itself is permanent. Phenomena is permanent. But phenomena of what? Phenomena of what? Phenomena like what? The flower. Flower is phenomena. Flower is impermanent, but the flower being phenomena, that is permanent. It doesn't mean it lasts forever. You're getting it? So, the all permanent phenomena, somehow they're always associated with the impermanent phenomena. There should be something there as an impermanent phenomena on the basis of which we talk about the permanent phenomena. Good? Yes?
Is there a term for everlasting and not everlasting?
Okay. Yes, it is everlasting. Okay. So this is known as the impermanence in terms of the continuum, and permanence in terms of continuum. So this is how ordinary people understand this, the permanent and impermanent. Say permanent means something, say whose continuum lasts forever. In the concept of continuum, lasting forever is what ordinary people call as the permanent. Yeah, good. Okay, now positive and negative phenomena. Let's say that where's my hand? Flower, right? Okay. How do you know that there's a flower in my hand? I can see it. You're getting it? Good. Okay, now what is in my hand? Nothing's there. How do you know that nothing's in my hand? I can see it. So you can see what? Nothing. Nothing's what you see? What do you see? Absence. You can see the absence. You can see the absence? Okay, now you can see absence of flower. You can see that? How do you see? Is there a phenomenon that's absence of flower and the absence of flower? There's nothing there to say I'm the absence of flower. What do you see? Anyone? How do you know the absence of flower in my hand? Raise hands, raise hands. Yes.
Because there was a flower before.
Okay, if I never took a flower before, then the absence of flower is still there. So how do you know the absence? How do you see the absence of flower? Yes, over there.
I'm telling myself.
Right.
I'm just telling myself that there is no flower.
Your mind is telling the flower. So your mind is seeing the absence of flower. So absence of flower. This is the absence of flower. I pick it up. Okay. So what is that is true. In other words, what difference is there to say that, okay, I have a flower in my right hand, I have the absence of flower in my left hand. You know both. You know that there's a flower in his right hand. There's an absence of flower in his left hand. You know that. You know both. But there's slight difference in how you know these two things. They differ. How you know the flower in my hand and the absence of flower in my left hand, these two differ. What's the difference? Anyone? Raise hands, raise hands. Manjari ji. Yeah. Can see the flower. What of the absence of flower? No. What knows? What mind knows? not your eye consciousness. Okay, anyone raise hands? Yes, over there.
Conceptual consciousness.
Huh?
The conceptual consciousness.
Conceptual consciousness. So even with the eyes closed, you can still see that. You cannot. So okay. Raise hands. Yes.
Objective and subjective.
What is objective and subjective? That's also true. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, of course. Of course. Anyone else?
Everyone with a healthy mind can understand there is a flower in your
Right hand?
but not everyone will understand there is the absence of flower in your left hand.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Not everyone will have that understanding.
Okay, so if I ask them, right, what is there? Is there a flower? Everybody will say there's no flower.
Yeah, but when you indicate, if you don't mention the flower, I don't think they will come to that.
Then if I don't mention that this is a flower, then the people, is there a flower?
Yeah, they will still say that.
The dog will say, is there a flower? What do you say?
If there's no, if there's a flower in your right hand,
The dog will know that.
even you say it, if you don't mention it, people will understand.
But the people, not the dogs.
Maybe the dogs.
Okay, good. Better?
The difference is there's substance, there's a substance.
There's substance there, and the one does not have the substance. Okay, good. Okay, now, I would agree with what Tam said, and what Venerable said, and what here, objective, subjective, but objective, not objective, objective and substantial. Subjective and substantial. Good. Okay, do you agree with me that when you say there's a flower there, there's an object there to say that I am the flower? Is there something? Say I'm the flower. Whereas in the case of absence of flower, there's no object there to tell you that I am the absence of flower. There's nothing there. You getting it? But how do you know the absence of flower? It is through, okay, look, it is through, you know the absence of flower through explicitly negating the presence of the flower. You have to negate the presence of the flower, then you come to know the absence of flower. But for this, to know the flower, you don't have to explicitly negate anything. There's an object there to tell you that I am the flower. You getting it? So there's an object which says that I am the flower. That is known as a positive phenomenon. But there's no object there to tell you that I am the absence of flower. But instead you have to know that through explicitly negating the presence of something. That is known as negative phenomena. You getting it? A phenomenon which you cognize through having to explicitly negate the object of negation. Let me repeat it. A negative phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes through explicitly negating the object of negation. Let me repeat it. A negative phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes through explicitly negating the object of negation is known as negative phenomena. A negative phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes through explicitly negating the object of negation. For example, absence of a flower. The mind explicitly negates the presence of the flower. This is how you know the absence of the flower. So the absence of flower is a negative phenomenon. Negative phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes through explicitly negating the object of negation. Whereas the positive phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes without having to explicitly negate the object of negation. Positive phenomenon is a phenomenon which a mind cognizes without having to explicitly negate the object of negation. In other words, there's some substance there to tell you that I am this object. You're getting it? This is a positive phenomenon. Now, why we are spending so much time on this positive negative phenomena is that emptiness, which you have to understand, is always a negative phenomenon. It can never be a positive phenomenon. If you don't know the positive and negative phenomena, if you don't know the concept of positive and negative phenomena, then you have no clue that what you have understood, whether it is emptiness or not emptiness, you have no clue. You may think that you are merely meditating on positive phenomena, which by no means it can be emptiness, but you think that it is emptiness, and you can be wasting your whole life on this. Whereas if you make this distinction, what is a positive phenomenon, negative phenomena, knowing that emptiness is always negative phenomena, when you know that, then the moment the positive phenomena comes to your mind, oh, I'm not meditating on emptiness, you can easily evaluate whether or not you are meditating on emptiness. This is so important. You're getting it? One. Next, the negative phenomena, again, we see that there are two kinds. Negative phenomena, again, there are two kinds. One is affirming negative and the other is non-affirming negative. Affirming negative and non-affirming negative. Affirming negative and non-affirming negative. Okay. Okay, let's say that there is a job advertisement. How many are interested in that job? What kind of job is that? You first ask this. The job is to be the attendant of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Who is going to apply? Raise hands. Okay, so I'm the interviewer. Right? Okay. So, okay, now I tell you that so you're going to be the attendant of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So my job is to check whether you are the qualified person. So I personified myself. I personified myself as His Holiness. Okay, so you come, and I said, for the breakfast, right? Okay, for the breakfast, I don't drink coffee. Right? So what would you offer? Isn't tea? What do we offer? Milk? Huh? Bruta. Pecha. Oh, pecha. You're going to offer pecha. Huh? Chocolate, hot chocolate. Anyone else? Juice. Okay, how many of you would offer pecha? Raise hands. Pecha is Tibetan tea. Raise hands. Okay, how many of you offer tea? Raise hands. How many offer hot chocolate? Raise hands. How many offer milk? Raise hands. All those who raise hands, you failed your you failed the interview. You failed the interview. You're getting it? You failed the interview. So, say I personify myself as His Holiness. Say, you serve me pecha? Who told you that I drink pecha? I just said I don't drink coffee, that's it. Who told you that I drink milk? I just said I don't drink coffee. Who told you that I drink tea? Yeah? No, who told you that I drink tea? I just said I don't drink coffee. You're getting it? Okay. So those of you who said you resent, you failed the interview. Okay, you cannot become the attendant of His Holiness. Okay, now you already got a clue. What would He offer me? Rachel, you're here? Right? Okay, what do you want? You're getting it? Sir, I didn't give you any clue when I said I don't drink coffee in the morning. I did not give you any clue that I drink the milk or the hot chocolate or pecha. No, I didn't give you any clue. So if at all you want to serve something, you have to ask me, what do you like to have? You're getting it? Which means that when I negate taking coffee, okay, I don't drink coffee, not drinking coffee in the morning. Is this a positive phenomena or negative phenomena? I don't drink coffee. Is it positive phenomena, negative phenomena? Is a negative phenomena. It's a negative phenomena. You're getting it first. Negative phenomena. Because that the not drinking coffee has to be cognized by by explicitly negating drinking coffee as object negation, by explicitly negating it. Okay, now not drinking coffee, that is a negative phenomenon. So then, did I affirm anything else? Did I affirm that I drink anything else? Yes, no? No. So what information that I gave you is that I don't drink coffee. That is the only simple information that I gave. I do not give you any extra information of what I'm drinking other than the coffee. You're getting it? So I simply negated the object negation, that's it. And nothing else is affirmed. Nothing else is inferred. Nothing else is affirmed. This is known as non-affirming negative. Okay, good. Now let's say that, okay, let's say that of course I'm a very ordinary person, and I tell you that I never eat anything in the daytime. I never eat anything in the daytime. Is that positive phenomena, negative phenomena? I never eat any time, and I'm already 55 years old. I have survived so well. I'm as ordinary as anyone else. And I never eat anything in the daytime. No, yes, in the nighttime. I never eat anything in the nighttime. Right? So this information that I gave you, is that a positive phenomena, negative phenomena? Negative phenomena. Affirming negative, non-affirming negative? Affirming. Okay. So when I said it's negative and is affirming, right? And then you change your mind instantly. It must be non-affirming, right? Don't trust my tone. You're getting it? Okay. What is that? Affirming negative, non-affirming negative. I don't eat anything in the night. Huh? Reasons. Okay. Here, the Philip. Yes. Affirming, non-affirming. Affirming negative. Okay. What is affirmed? Yes, you have to. You're so healthy. You said you're a very ordinary person, so you must be eating, sometime in the day, sometime within 24 hours. So since that you don't eat in the nighttime, it implies that you eat in the daytime. Perfect. That's affirming negative. You getting it? That's affirming negative. Now, why are we studying this affirming negative, non-affirming negative? Is that emptiness again? Emptiness, which we should recognize, is always non-affirming negative. Emptiness is not only a negative phenomenon, it is always non-affirming negative. Okay, if you know the concepts, if you know these concepts, then you will be in a position to evaluate if you are actually meditating on emptiness or facsimile of emptiness, or something which is not really emptiness, and you think that you're meditating emptiness. Actually, you may not be meditating on emptiness. If you're meditating if you're meditating on a phenomenon which is affirming negative, which means it's not emptiness. But if you don't know what is affirming, non-affirming, you have no clue whether or not what you're meditating is emptiness. You getting it? This is so important. So important. Okay. In conclusion, yes.
If you say that you never eat in the night time, that does not necessarily mean that you do eat in the daytime.
Okay, so I said I'm a very ordinary person, and I'm a very healthy person. I'm already 55 years old.
But it's still assumption, no?
Huh?
It's still assumption.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking.
So therefore I gave the answer. Which means I'm an ordinary person. I have no special power, and I'm already 55 years old. I'm very healthy. There must be something to sustain myself, right? It should be the food. Not eating at night time means only option is that I must be eating in the daytime. Good? Yes.
Also need to drink, right?
Drink.
So you said you don't drink coffee, but that would imply that you drink something else.
Oh, is it necessary that one has to drink something? Is it necessary? Is it necessary that the doctors? Can somebody survive without drinking at all? No? Eating food? Eating food, liquid comes in. Right? Of course. Right? I don't drink coffee means I don't drink beverages. You're getting it? I don't drink beverages. When I take the what? The soupy noodle, right? There's liquid going in the air. I can still survive, not unless I have to take some beverage. Okay, good. Yes.
I have a question that if a mind is not able to cognize or by power of deduction or recognize, let's say, a child, would it still be a negative phenomenon?
Like what?
Some way or
Non-affirming negative? Non-affirming negative?
yes.
Okay, let's say that I don't drink coffee. And I said, okay, now what should I say? Right? A small child? Okay, now he said he doesn't drink coffee. So what should I serve? If you get lost, then you fail the interview. Right? Because you do not know the concept of affirming, non-affirming negative. So first you have to learn this to become a good attendant.
That's in that context, but generally speaking.
Generally speaking, yes. Generally speaking, it is not that. Is it, for example, simply because, for example, emptiness. Emptiness is a non-affirming negative. And there are many people who are confused whether what you meditate is actually emptiness or not. So there's no clue of what is positive, what is negative, what is affirming, what is non-affirming negative. There's no clue. But it doesn't make, simply because the person who is meditating on supposed emptiness, person has no clue about the affirming, non-affirming, and negative, doesn't mean the object doesn't become non-affirming. So the object is still non-affirming. For example, let's say that, okay, now let's say that, I've been eating the delicious, Thosamling bread. Thosamling bread is amazing, right? How many of you really appreciate it? That's amazing. I really appreciate it. Wow, I really appreciate it. This is something I cannot spare it. Yeah. So and then the moment the bread is finished, right, I ate all, then absence of the bread. Absence of bread, right? Whether I cognitively think about it or not, absence of bread is there, that is non-affirming negative. You getting it? It's not about whether you cognize it or not. The reality is that this is a nature which, if somebody were to cognize it, it has to be cognized only by explicitly negating something without affirming anything else. This is reality. Yes?
Is Nirvana non-affirming negative?
Okay, this is a good question. What about Nirvana? Okay, hold this question. I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to confuse the rest of the people. If possible, we'll discuss this. They say what? When is our last day? 16th? 17th? Wait, 27th? 26th? So, 25th. Not before that. Because this is a very complicated issue. If I bring this up here, it can confuse people more. Okay, here.
Can you give another example for affirming negative phenomena? Because you say you don't eat at night, but you can also sustain yourself on banana lassi, so you would never have to eat.
Banana lassi, okay, that's true. That's true. So what should I do? Okay, group discussion. Which I cannot answer. I will leave it on the group discussion, that's better. Banana is complicated. Is it only banana lassi or it can be mango lassi also? Right? Anything lassi. Right? Okay, that's true. I don't really eat anything. I can still drink something and still survive. That's true. Okay, so group discussion. Okay, so now, yes.
So, I have a similar question. So, when we discuss, when experiences by explicitly negating the object's negation. And when for example, His Holiness saying that he is not drinking coffee, that becomes a non-affirming negative. But when this person is saying that he doesn't eat at night, then the thing that he doesn't eat at night should be the affirming negative, right? It's not that we assume that he eats something during the day, even though he is healthy.
No, he explicitly said, I'm healthy, I'm 55 years old,
Yes.
I have no health issues, I'm a very ordinary person, I don't have power, special power, right? I survive all these 55 years, very healthy, I never eat anything in the night time.
So isn't the affirming negative not eating something in the night time?
Okay, I don't eat anything in the night. If this information given by somebody without the ancillary information, then what you said is true. That becomes non-affirming negative. Yeah, because let's say that, okay, the one in my pocket, let's say the one in my pocket does not eat anything in the night time. What is that? This rosary. Is it true or not? It does not eat anything in the night time. True or not true? It's true. It's just non-affirming negative. That's it. Good. Okay, now, do you want to be in trouble? Or you don't want to be in trouble? You don't want to be in trouble. You're scared. Okay, I will ask you one question. What is emptiness? Is it a positive phenomenon, negative phenomenon? Negative phenomenon. And within negative, affirming negative, non-affirming negative? Non-affirming negative. Very good. What is non-affirming negative? What is non-affirming negative? A negative phenomena which a mind cognizes after explicitly negating the negative phenomena is already explicitly negated the object. Negative phenomena where no positive or non-affirming negative is inferred. Where no positive or non-affirming the non-affirming phenomena is inferred. That is non-affirming negative. You getting it? Non-affirming negative is a negative phenomenon which does not infer a positive phenomena or a non-affirming negative phenomena. Okay, what is non-affirming negative phenomena? Non-affirming negative phenomena is a negative phenomena which after explicitly rejecting the negating object negation, either a positive phenomena or non-affirming negative is inferred. Either positive or affirming negative is inferred. Good. Okay. The affirming negative is a negative phenomena which, after explicitly negating the object negation, affirms a positive or affirming negative phenomena. What do you want? Which one? For the affirming negative or non-affirming negative? Affirming negative. Affirming negative is a negative phenomena which after explicitly having negated object negation affirms a positive phenomena or another affirming negative. Very good. Now the question that I like to pose before we retire for the tea break is that, ready or not? Ready for the question? Not. Okay, what is emptiness? Emptiness is affirming and non-affirming and negative. Non-affirming and negative. Negative, positive. And negative phenomena. Okay, very good. Okay, I'll not confuse you further. So this question I'll ask you tomorrow. Which question? With the emptiness, affirming negative and non-affirming negative, this is what I'll ask you tomorrow. You getting it? Who's going to remind me? Raise hands. Here. I need to. There. Okay. What's the question? They're going to remind me? Okay. Good. Good. Thank you. Okay. So we have 8 minutes. Questions, if you have. Yes.
Okay. Just speak. Okay for recording. Thank you, Geshe. Question is: does space, compounded and uncompounded both, do they have temporal parts or temporal parts and material parts?
Or the compounded and uncompounded
Right.
both.
Like which of them?
First,
Right.
what the Tundubla is saying, the space. Space, there are two kinds. What are they? Compounded space and uncompounded space we learned already. Now, let's say that compounded space, is it made of parts? Is it made of temporal parts? Is your question? Does it have temporal parts? Okay. What does it mean by temporal parts? Anyone? What does it mean by temporal parts? Parts in time. Parts in time. Okay. So time. What is time? Time is a phenomena which is time is the invariable quality of an impermanent phenomena. Time is an invariable phenomena of impermanent phenomena. So in other words, time makes sense only with the impermanent phenomena. So therefore temporal parts make sense only with the impermanent phenomena. It makes sense only with the compounded phenomena. Compounded phenomena and impermanent phenomena, these two are same. So time, temporal segments, make sense only with the compounded phenomena or impermanent phenomena. You getting it? So the compounded space, it does have temporal parts, but the uncompounded phenomena, uncompounded space, does not have temporal parts. Why? Why uncompounded phenomena does not have temporal parts? Why? Because the time, temporal parts of the time, is the quality of the compounded phenomena alone, not of the uncompounded phenomena. Okay, good. More questions? Yes. Okay, those who like to ask questions, just make sure that you hold this small piece. It's just for the recording purpose.
I want to ask about this question, which I should remind you of. What's the difference between self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude?
Okay, that will come later.
Okay.
So still, that first we have to introduce what is self-grasping ignorance, still not introduced yet, and then self-centered. Most likely it will come 2 or 3 days before we leave. Okay.
How do we know we have a Buddha nature?
Oh, how do we know that we have a Buddha nature? This is a good question. Okay. Let's say that a handful of sand you squeeze, no oil comes out. Whereas in our case, we see that they say by any means. Say first of all, to get a little bit of clue of what's Buddha nature. Buddha nature is marked with 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and a perfect power. And of course, it has so many other qualities. And if you do get time, your name, sorry? Philip?
Philip.
Okay. Philip should remind me the divisions of the Buddha nature later on, not today. Divisions of the Buddha nature. And we will learn a lot about this. For the time being, say, what is the Buddha nature? Perfect knowledge. What is Buddhahood? Buddha's mind. Perfect knowledge, perfect love, and a perfect power. So we have the seeds of these three things. We have the seeds of these three things. For example, let's say that if you practice compassion, your compassion grows. You're getting it? Your compassion grows. For example, somebody irritates you, agitation comes. Somebody is so kind to you, extremely pleasant feeling comes in you. Where does this pleasant feeling come from? From where? From somewhere inside, somewhere within. Handful of sand, squeeze it, no oil comes out of it. For the oil to come out, there must be something inside. So there's an extremely blissful feeling, very pleasant feeling comes out when somebody is so kind to you. You could feel it coming. But you never experienced it before, and suddenly you experience that. And where is it coming from? It is coming from somewhere inside. So which remain hidden. What remain hidden, now coming out, that is known as the Buddha nature. One. And then when you practice compassion, right, you learn how to squeeze the handful of sunflower seeds. You learn how to squeeze so well, then gradually the oil comes out. You learn how to squeeze the handful of sand, gradually the oil comes out. No? Whereas you learn how to practice compassion, your compassion grows. There's something inside there. You learn how to you learn how to understand quantum mechanics. Gradually you understand quantum mechanics. So the wisdom grows, intelligence grows, your compassion grows, your power also grows. So unless there's something inside, it cannot come out. There's some seed inside. So your compassion grows, your wisdom grows. These are all the indications that something is inside you. Right? If you can grow more, the wisdom will keep increasing. And one thing which is very interesting is that as you grow older, your bodily constituencies, they grow older. But your mind, if you train, it can become fresher. This is very different. Right? This is very different. So the more you use the mind, the sharper your mind will become. The more you use the car, the older the car becomes. Right? So the more you use the car, don't apply this logic. The more you use the mind becomes sharper. The more you use the car becomes more brand new. No? Right? This is different between the physicality and the mental. So the mind has this Buddha energy in ways that these qualities are there. The more you exercise, the more these qualities will come out. Good? Okay, one more question if you have. Yes, Sunil? Anil? Sunil? Yes. Okay,
my question is the absence of flower in my hand. Is it imagination or real?
Oh, that is a good question. Okay, before I touch this area, Sunil's question, let me continue with what the Philip said. Is that this is this is how I explain to you intellectually. You're getting it? Now, if you learn the psychology, Buddhist psychology, not the Freudian psychology, if you learn the Buddhist psychology so well, and of course, all this material is available, what it says? Not in master's course, not in the diploma course. Okay, if you study this so well systematically, and particularly the not the master's course. If you do this, then where you gradually come to see what your mind is like, and with a little bit of meditation, experience emptiness, experience Bodhicitta, and then you see how your anger works within you, how your afflictions work, how your mind and how your the psychology and your physiology, these two are very closely connected, and how the physiology and how your biology, these two are very closely connected. When you see all this interconnectedness, how this all intertwined, and you see your mind very gross to the very subtle level. When you see that, then you can see that, wow, how the mind works is just amazing. That is way beyond what you can imagine of the neuroscience. It's way beyond that. So for that matter, you need to reach that level, at least like, what's mind? Experience what is this mind? And how this is connected with your, say, very strange experiences you can have. And that too, very stabilized experience. Not just like, you just take what is that? Some drugs are there, which makes you just feel like, in the air.
Hallucinations.
No, so what are these drugs known as?
Psychedelics.
Psycho? Who is that? The psychedelics. Okay. Okay. Pablo, don't take it.
Too late.
Huh?
Too late.
Okay, Pablo, I know that you're not taking it.
No.
Okay, Pablo, thank you. Pablo, what do you call it?
Psychedelics.
Psychedelics. Okay, let's say that. Let's say by the taking these, then you feel that, okay, I'm in heaven, right? Or I'm in heaven. Some people say I'm in hell, right? Yeah, this is very deceptive. But okay, this is deceptive. I don't want to say but. It's very deceptive. Whereas through meditation, you can have extremely profound experiences, but knowing. Meditation doesn't mean single point meditation all the time, where cognitively you become extremely sharp to know emptiness, and cognitively and affectively you become extremely empathetic with the universal compassion, and stability meditation, where your mind can be extremely sharp, clear and stable for like say hours and hours. When you reach that level of the samadhi, cognitive, affective and stability with all, then you start to see your mind very differently. You can see the power of your mind. The mind has an incredible power. Okay, when you realize this, then you see that the mind can behave very independently of your brain. And then you see that when the mind manifests its true nature, it can really perform magic. What is the infinite compassion, infinite wisdom, and infinite, the power. So these all come from the seed, squeezing of the sunflower seeds, and the oil comes out. Good. Okay, we stop here.
There was this question.
Sorry? Oh, yes, Sunil's question. Absence of a flower in my hand, is it just imaginary or real? Oh, what do you think? Hey, what do you think? Very quick. Real or imagination? Okay, I'm a Buddha. Is imagination real? Purely imagination. You're getting it? Absence of the flower. Okay, let's say. There's flower in my right hand. Real or not real? Okay, there is absence of flower in my left hand. True, not true? Okay, there's a chocolate in my left hand. There's a Swiss chocolate in my left hand to be distributed to all of you. Real or not real? Not real, total fantasy. Or the absence of chocolate. I'm sorry, there's no chocolate in my hand. Real or not real? Real. That's not imaginary. But it's your mental imputation. It's not imaginary. You're getting it? It's not imaginary, but it's mental imputation. It's imputed by your mind, not from the substance. It's coming from your subject. Can you hear me? Good, thank you. Okay, so this is a very important point, that the absence of the flower in my hand, it is not imaginary, it is real. Yet it is not substantial, it is Hey, what happened? Absence of flower, absence of flower in my hand is not imaginary, it is real. But it is not substantial, it is subjective. It is mentally imputed. You're getting it? Likewise, when you reach to the higher and more sophisticated understanding of emptiness, from the point of view of Prasangika, then it becomes real. Everything is mental imputation. Nothing exists from the object, yet nothing is imaginary. You're getting it? Everything exists as purely subjective imputation, but they're real, they're not imaginary. This is what we're going to learn over the next few days. Okay, we stop here with the dedication. Page 52. I dedicate the merit that's gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for 3 times, and to the order of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all wise, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stations of the path of renunciation, Bodhicitta, perseverance in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, Vowels and Space that have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the shield-breathing Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyana Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyana Om Gati Gati Paragati